Right. Boom. What's going on, everyone? Welcome to another episode of the Odin Chronicles, coming at you with episode number 23. All right. Thought I'd give a quick update on BattleShip here. Definitely made a little bit more progress since the last video. So now I'm able to use this little hover class here. So I'll kind of just get right into and demonstrating what I've been working on here. So we got our little game right here that looks terrible. And what I'll have you do, what the user will do, click on the ship object here that they want to place, BattleShip, for example, and they choose a direction they want to go, vertical or horizontal. And if you notice, when you hover over the board, it fills in those little cells there. Gives you a little preview before you place it. So, and I can easily toggle back and forth. I can go back to vertical again, like so, and go back to horizontal, like that. So that's pretty cool. That was kind of what I've been working on there. And to do a little code breakdown, kind of show you what I've been doing there, adding this hover class. So this is my DOM logic folder here. We got our grid container that we're going to be appending things to. This is this right here. Appending cells to it, making that grid and making that game board. We have our variables here. The current cell. Oops, this current ship one's not being used. This code is kind of a mess, fair warning. So we got our current cell here that gets updated. Current ship length, current ship directions. Then we have some ship objects here that we're creating. The name of it, the length, and the position. So first thing I got here is the event listeners. These are these little buttons here, the vertical and horizontal buttons that you can change the ship direction. Basically what we're doing, we're just updating that current ship direction variable to horizontal or vertical. That's really all the event listeners are doing. Then we have this find coordinates function here. So what this is doing here, this is going to find the coordinates that are going to be filled in. So if you notice, once we click on a ship object and we hover over the game board, it's going to grab the current cell that we're hovering over. And it's going to calculate how many cells need to be filled based on the ship's length and based on the ship's position. So once we find the current cell, I'll actually go down here, show you the real execution of it. Once we find that current cell, I'll mouse enter. It's getting updated right there. Grabbing the e.target, whatever we hovering over with our mouse, and they're passing it to find coordinates. The current cell, the current ship direction, and the ship length. So let me go up here, break this down. Okay, here's find coords. So we got a current cell, we got our ship direction and ship length. If it's vertical, we're going to be pushing the updated coordinates into an array. It's going to be passed to another function, but we got to make sure they're the same type. We got to make sure both the column and the row number that we're grabbing from our data sets here, that they are a number. So you're going to be adding them together. And then we loop through the ship length. Okay, so if it's vertical, we're only going to update the X one. So we got the current row number from up here, and we're going to be adding its length to it. So that's what the I is for there. We're looping through the current ship length and getting that current cell and then adding on to that current cell. And then we're pushing the updated coordinates into the array there because they're going to be passed to our other function right here. Boom. And then if it's horizontal, we're following the same process. We're initializing an array. We're getting our current row and getting our current column, which is a number there. We're converting it. It's going to return back a string here at first. That's why I had to convert it into a number. That's what you see here. And then we're looping through the current ship's length. And then, okay, since it's horizontal now, we're only updating the Y coordinate. So we got that number here, which I'm highlighting, and we're also adding I onto it. So BattleShip, for example, is a length of 4. So we're adding 4 on to this current number here. It's going to start out as a loop. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, adding onto it each time. And then we're pushing it to this that updated array. And outside the loop, that's when we're passing those updated coordinates. So we have to know what cells we're going to fill first. That's what this function is doing here. And then we're passing it to the function down below here. We're going to use them. We're going to apply the styles to them. So we're getting those passed in coordinates. We're going to loop through all of them, its entire length. We're getting a coordinate, but so it's they're indexed like arrays. So we're getting the row, we're getting the column. Okay, so rows come first, so that's why it's 0, and then columns come in at 1, which is next. Arrays are 0 indexed. That's what we're doing there. Then we're getting the DOM equivalent. So these coordinates here, they are also connected to the data sets on here. So each cell has a different data set of a row and a column. We want to find the equivalent of that in the DOM. So that's what we're doing here. And then we're adding that class to it. We're using the toggle method. We're not using add. We're using the toggle method there to trigger that class there, okay? Use coordinates there. And then I'll kind of show you the rest. That's kind of the process there. For that little hover class, that is the process. Creating our game board grid here. Just creating a little div. I mean, my naming's pretty bad in some of these variables. I definitely want to adjust that. And I think I might just adjust that to the cell because we're just making the game board grid here and making some divs or cells and appending it to a larger container. Okay, and then we have click method on there. So whatever cell I click on, it's going to return it back for me. Maybe I'll show that here. Yep, there we go. So whatever cell I click on, it's going to find it right there, as you can see. Boom. And each cell, if you notice, has a data row, has data attributes. So they have it for a row and for a column. So that's how you get the exact coordinates using those data sets. Okay. What else we got down here? We got our mouse enter class. And what this basically does, whatever cell you mouse over on the game board, that's going to dynamically change to be the current cell. So if I'm over here, the start, that's going to be the current cell up there. I'm 0, 0. And then, boom, we hover over here. It's going to update again to get that next current cell. So it gets dynamically updated. And then once we find all that info, okay, so we have the current cell, current ship direction, and current ship length. We're passing to the find coords function. The mouse leave, it's calling it again, so it keeps the cycle going. The current cell gets dynamically updated, and still passing the ship direction and current ship length. And then we have our BattleShip DOM object here, which we're creating. Just kind of basically making a little div, giving it some styles. Okay, and then if you click on it, so I'll show that process here again. If you click on it, saves it, current ship, whatever you click on, or sorry, in this case, BattleShip. Each ship will have their own little class there. You click on it, and it becomes the current ship, updates that variable, and you key into its ship length and ship direction. So again, once again, I'll show you the process. The user's going to click on this BattleShip object here. They can hover over the board. It's default. It's already set to vertical, but we can change it back to horizontal. Boom. It's calculating, I'm hovering over here. Okay, ship's length is 4, its direction's horizontal. Let me fill in all of these cells here. The current cell gets dynamically updated like that. I don't know. I thought it's pretty darn cool. It took me a while to figure this out. Man, it's just been a tough week trying to figure out how to get this working here. But we got it done. We got it done. I'm not the fastest learner here, guys. I'm pretty darn freaking slow. So this felt good. This was definitely a win getting this done. So now we just got to figure out a method for actually placing the ships on the board. So that will be coming next. When I'm hovering over here, boom, I place it there. Then I'm going to move to the next one, destroyer. Get to change its direction there. And then boom, it gets placed there. So that's coming up next. Definitely make another video update on that. And that's pretty much it there. Last thing I'll kind of close out the video with, I know someone asked me recently, is going through the Odin Project's foundations is worth it? Would you recommend it? And absolutely, I would wholeheartedly recommend going through Odin's foundations. It's great, really. It's going to test you. It's very in depth. It's a challenge for sure. But it's going to teach you a lot of great skills. How to be self-sufficient, self-reliant. Do like doing your own research. They're not going to give you all the answers. You're going to have to get on Google or read through some documentation, watch some videos, and teach yourself some concepts. But really for foundations, they're still going to help you out a lot. They're going to give you a lot of good resources to go through. Things definitely ramp up after foundations a lot. The jump is pretty big. But I would recommend anyone who's interested in learning the code, getting into web development, definitely start with the Odin Project. Go through the foundations, see how you like it. You'll probably enjoy it. You'll probably learn a lot. You'll probably want to continue. But hey, maybe it's not for you. So I don't think it hurts to go through foundations, the Odin Project's foundations for anyone learning how to code. It's very, very great. The projects all build on each other. I think you're starting with recipe book, which is just basically some basic HTML and CSS, some structure and styling. You get to create your favorite recipes and put them on a little website. And then you're jumping into the landing page, which they give you a little replica or image to style and base it off of, and you're going to build it around that. Landing page is not too bad. You're going to be using Flexbox for that too, how you organize and align items on your website. It's all using CSS. Yes, so Flexbox is a really big thing you learn in Foundations. Then the last 3 projects really ramp up. You got Rock, Paper, Scissors, Etch-a-Sketch, and Calculator. And all three of those projects will test you. The hardest one being is Calculator. That's a tough project. You will be tested with that one. But really, in conclusion, I would recommend the Odin Project Foundations to anyone. Lots of good resources. They link you to a lot of good content from a variety of sources. The projects challenge you. They have their online Discord server that you can use. So, excuse me, if you do get stuck, you have people to go to ask for help. Just make sure you form a good question and you're respectful and nice to people, and people will be willing to help you out. So definitely go through Odin Project's Foundations. I recommend it a lot if you're wanting to learn more about code. That's pretty much it, guys. That's a lot of rambling today. Just want to give an update and kind of explain my code and what I've been working on here. And hope to make another video here soon of getting the ship placement down next. So that's what I'll be working on here soon. And until then, take it easy, guys. Boom.